We have here members of the SSANU. They are here for their 44th National Executive Council meeting. Let me start by introducing the members of the University Management team. We have our 6th Vice Chancellor, Professor Maduebibisi Ofo Iwe. He's a professor of food science and technology. With him also is our Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Franka Eleshi Asawalam. We have our own registrar, Dr. Nkiru Mbanaso. And we have our university bossa, Chief Ugochukwu Ironkwe. Also here is the university librarian, Dr. Isaac Ogbonna. Also seated there is the university CSO, Sir Okafor Alexander. May I now plead the Vice Chancellor to welcome our guests in the Igbo traditional way, which is the presentation of kola nut. Kola nut in Igbo land means you are welcome. And our Vice Chancellor is a good man, open-minded.
Thank you very much, Piero, the National President of Senior Staff Association of Universities in Nigeria, Comrade Mohammed Ibrahim, and members of the ESCO, trustees, and all those that followed you to Mudike. We are so happy to have you, and our normal first function is to admit you into our university by giving you something from the soil, because especially as we are University of Agriculture. It's good to have you around. Thank God that people were able to make it. Somebody came here a few days ago and was talking about security and all that, and insecurity. I told him, well, Nigeria is one, because I remember in those days of Boko Haram, I came to a university 2 or 3 times to examine students, and I came back safely. And when I was telling people that I was in Maiduguri, they say, "You want to take to in Yola?" They said, "What took you to Yola? You want to die there?" I said, "No, I slept well, and I woke up well." One other time, I traveled to Sokoto within the period, and I told people I was in Sokoto. They were saying, "You want to die?" I said, "No, people are here. We are all Nigerians. Everybody's going about his business and all that." So you're all welcome. Thank God that you found your way through. I know that the only thing we lack now is good roads, good connecting roads in Nigeria. They are almost all dead everywhere. We are also apologizing that our own is not the best, especially when you come to Moya. To drive in here becomes a problem. In those days, it used to be 5 minutes from Moya to this place, but now you can spend up to 2 hours coming here. So you are welcome. We're happy that you made it. So want to welcome you with our seed from the soil, and just to be sure that you are properly admitted into our community, and we assure you of every pleasure and goodness that the community can offer. So in that regard, let me request the bossa to present this to the chairman, to the national president. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you, my Vice Chancellor. As we still proceed with the kola ritual, you will observe my national president that in Igbo land,
he can take another one.
we respect kola and we have procedures.
I think I'll ask you to take another one for VC and tell him that you saw me. Yeah, good. So now the audio can go around. Yeah.
Thank you, my Vice Chancellor. May I now invite the National Chairman of SSANU, National President SSANU, to please tell the Vice Chancellor why he's here in Micro and Advanced Agriculture, Umudike.
So, Vice Chancellor, sir, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Admin, our SSANU 001, the Registrar, the SSANU 002, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, and of course our very good friend, the University Librarian, who sometimes can disguise for a member of SSANU. Other members of the university community here, the Deputy President of SSANU, members of the National Administrative Committee, distinguished members of the delegation, a very good morning to you, and I say it Otutu Oma.
Ndeo.
Thank you, sir. As has been said, SSANU is here for a ritual which is constitutional. SSANU, as you may have been aware, is the umbrella body of all university senior members of staff. SSANU is and will remain the melting pot in university governance, which the Vice Chancellor is fully aware. This body is saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that we discuss issues, we set agenda, we lobby, we struggle, and we fight for the rights and privileges of our members who work in the university. This union has come a long way with a very interesting history. And the history, which I wouldn't want to bore you with, is to tell you that SSANU started from the eastern part of this country. It was given birth to here in the east. And therefore, we give our Eastern brothers very high respect for championing the cause of members of the senior staffers in the university. Our first and foundation president is from the eastern part of this country. My immediate predecessor is also from this part of the country. And therefore, we give very high regard to the work of SSANU in this part of the country. Therefore, the choice of coming to Umudike for our meeting, which will be the 44th National Executive Council meeting, is strategic. One is to tell the world that this media hype of the fact that people cannot even access the eastern part of this country is no longer true. Yes, just like the VC mentioned, a lot of our people, including my own mother, didn't want me to come here. Yes. So I had to tell her that I'm not going to spend the night, that I'm just coming here from the airport, we'll do 1 hour meeting and go back. I don't blame her, but this is the, the story going round, and that I was telling the chairman this morning with the VP in my room that in a long time I've not had the best of sleeps that I had overnight, because the environment is serene, it's quiet, the hotel is excellent. Even while I was in Geneva and Israel 2 weeks ago, I didn't have that good sleep. So I really will tell the story differently after living here, and I know our members will do the same. Yes, we will not deny that there are some hiccups, a lot of things happening in this country, and just because you know that in everywhere you go, there are good people and there are bad people. And the bad people are not many, but they make the loudest noise. And it is our duty to ensure that we tell the story differently and we do not allow them win. Because when they put fear and they scare us from moving around, that would have been their major achievements. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, our meeting today and tomorrow in Umudike is really to discuss issues affecting our membership, nationally. For me, I've had opportunities to say elsewhere that this is not even the best of times to be a vice chancellor in Nigeria. And in fact, for us as union leaders, it's even worse because everything has been turned upside down. Government is not sincere, government is not honest, government is not transparent, things are not done rightly, and our duties have been muddled up and usurped by different characters. I have had the privilege of working in the university for close to 3 decades now, and I've worked with 3 vice chancellors serving as either one office or the other directly. And I know and I still can remember how powerful vice chancellors were. I pity you because I know you do not have those powers now. Yes, we used to employ on Sundays. Yes, I know several occasions where myself and the vice chancellor will sit down, you tell me, give me this file, we'll check, just going through the CV. If the person is found appointable, we call the number on the application or on the CV, and we ask you where you are, and then if you can come the following week, and we conduct an interview, and then you are appointed. The vice chancellor cannot even employ his driver now. He has to go through certain setbacks. So this is actually not the best of times. And of course, for us as members of staff who work in the university, our welfare and our well-being has been trampled upon. Our progression has become so problematic. The community is becoming so antagonistic to some of our people who work in the system. And we know that it is a question of general review. It is a reflection of what is happening in the society. Everybody feels and thinks about himself. Self first, self next, and then maybe before you think about others. But meeting a vice chancellor like you, whom from the few moments we have met, I realized that you are a cosmopolitan individual. You have gone around and you know what it takes. I believe that the stories I've heard about Umudike, which I have just been told this morning that they are no longer there, because Umudike used to reflect in almost all our meetings about stagnation, about retardation, about denials. But in the last 2 years, I've been told that things are changing for the better. So we can only say that we'll give you a pat on the back, and we hope that you will maintain this momentum so that you will liberate our members, you will give them their due recognition, and then allow them to function effectively. When I met with the chairman, I think even before I came, I've asked him, please let me have the list of issues that are bedeviling and besetting you. And until this morning, the man has been struggling to come up with some few ones. I said, things have really changed, because if it was before, it would have been a full scrap sheet of list of issues. So all the issues he has mentioned here, I think, are things that the vice chancellor can decide to, and together with his management, make sure that things, we don't have to talk about them at the next given opportunity. Issues such as review of the condition of service, which there is a committee working on, but they are going on at a snail speed. When people are anticipating so many things and then the thing is not coming in due time, especially now that everybody is in a haste, we will tend to complain. And then some of our people, if you realize of late, those in the secretarial cadre, those people are becoming more and more problematic to the system, because most of them have been employed as typists, and that some of them have been able to acquire additional qualification. But the cadre remains, as confidential secretaries or as typists, instead of the new nomenclature of either making them data processing officers or office managers and so on, so that you give them that due regard, so that you encourage them also to function and let them also belong, to the new way of doing things. And their progression, I was told that is also at a very slow speed. So I think the management, in conjunction with the unions, because what we do in some of these meetings, we share and compare notes. There are universities who have advanced, who have changed ways of doing things, and that we advise our members that when you get this kind of information, you don't hold it. Avail yourself with the opportunity of meeting with management, you have the registrar, you have some members of staff who are your members. You encourage them to attend meetings, meet with them even informally, and then try to bring them up to speed with the way how things are done. And then you'll be able to now also make your university to belong to the Commonwealth of universities that perform. I have to specifically commend you, Mr. Vice Chancellor, and your management for ensuring that the issues of backlog of promotions, which you inherited, have been dealt with seriously, and things are no longer the same. People are happy. And also that postgraduate studies for staff is also now at staff's peril. If you want to progress, the Vice Chancellor and management doesn't stop you. So I think this is also being very developmental in nature. And finally, Mr. Vice Chancellor, may I also request that you kindly look into the issue of some of our colleagues who are in the university staff school. The level 12 is no longer in the contest table. People move from 11 to 13. So for whatever reason, if you put somebody on level 12 and he's a graduate, I think you are shortchanging him. Allow them to move as long as they meet what it takes to move. This is what we will plead with you. This is what is obtainable elsewhere. And we feel Umudike should not behave differently. Before I round up, Mr. Vice Chancellor, our members have been waiting since 9 o'clock in the hall there. But I believe they will understand. Seeing a Vice Chancellor is not easy. We'll try to explain. But you will do us better if we kindly request you and your management to come and declare our meeting open, so that they will understand the fact that we were here and that you also have welcomed them properly. Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chancellor.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Well, you see, I didn't want to say that, but if you want me to say it, I will say. There's a saying in my place that the dog was commended that you are looking fine, and we heard that there was celebration in your house. He said, well, that is why you could see me with this bone. So from the faces of members of staff, we know that the university is doing well, and that it has been reported to us that you have extended a hand of fellowship and support in the organizing of this National Executive Council meeting, and that we want to thank you. We know that this is something that you are doing out of your free will, and is in your unusual characteristics of lending a helping hand to all your children around. This administration under my leadership came into office exactly today, 2 years, 7 months, and 13 days. And we are gradually winding up at the administration. And we deliberately have decided to paint a new image for our union, SSANU. Everything about the university is ASU. Even this morning, I was listening to the TV, watching TV, and people in the Senate are talking about ASU, ASU, ASU. Even if SSANU goes on strike, they say, ASU strike, SSANU has resumed strike. So we are fighting a battle of identity. So in our ways of doing things, we think that we should drop some few write-ups, some few documents that will reflect our name and also give us a good image. Here, we will present to the Vice Chancellor some few items here. But there is one I will have the audacity to send Mr. Vice Chancellor to his wife at home. And make sure you deliver, because I will find out. This is for your wife. I know there are a lot of things. And then we have our bulletin and then the magic cup for you, Mr. Vice Chancellor. We have for the registrar, the bossa, and others. But this is symbolic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the National Chairman of SSANU, National President of SSANU. May I humbly invite the 6th Vice Chancellor to respond to your speech, and I know he has been doing very well. Whatever you heard about him is just a tip of the iceberg. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir.
Thank you, Piero. The National President of SSANU and all the executive leadership of SSANU, I want to once again thank you and welcome you to Mudike. I'm so excited that the president has understanding of our system. I think we should give him a round of applause for that. He has serious understanding of our system. And for me, I don't usually talk so long because I believe that if we're of the same stock, we should know what is happening within us. I'm happy to receive you once again, and thank you for letting me know why you are in Mudike. Well, the university system has been under undue pressure and has not been allowed to express herself as it ought to be. It's unfortunate that when we're supposed to be producing fruit, we're still trying to water the roots to see whether the roots can survive. I think that's the picture of the Nigerian university system, and it's quite unfortunate. I'm glad that you were properly briefed about the university, and the much you have done is just by God's grace and by a determination to make sure that we lift up the image of our university beyond where we met it. Our university was doing well from inception, but at a point it plummeted, and we have been trying to bring it out of the valley. And that's where we had needed and we still need the cooperation of our staff, especially the non-teaching staff, the senior staff in particular. I've always challenged our senior staff that much of our problem here could be solved by them alone. Because as senior staff, if they give the correct advice to the younger ones, if they provide the best of leadership at the establishment level, then we can move on. Much of the decisions actually by management is by the guidance of the senior staff, by the guidance of the registry staff, the bursary staff, and all that. They are the people that read day to day the books of the university to tell the vice chancellor, this is done this way, this is not done this way. So if there is a university having problem, actually, we should ask the senior staff why such a university should have problem. I don't rule out the possibility of a vice chancellor being naughty or being, proud or being, moving beyond, the lines. But as I've always also said, the rules of the universities were established before any one of us stepped into the university. They were established before any one of us stepped into the university. And there's no reason why every day we should be, struggling with the rules. If the registry staff, the establishment staff, tell the truth about the rules, of course, management has no excuse to go against the rules. That's the matter. That's the way I see the things. The books are there. So I will encourage you and your association, your union or your association to make sure that our senior staff are doing their jobs by reading and interpreting the rules and advising properly on the rules that govern university administration. With that, we wouldn't have much problem. A few of us as vice chancellors would want to do their own things their own way, but when the chips are down, the rules will also be called out. And people will answer for themselves. We have seen it happen even in this system. For me, I want to abide by the rules. I want to do what we should do. I've also challenged our people here that if you are talking about backlog of promotion, who is involved? Who is in charge? If you people don't do your work in the departments and units at the appropriate time, then there'll be no promotion. And from my experience in the last 38 years in the university, I've always shared with them that the demon or the spirit of strike normally comes between April and June. And it is within this period that you do assessment. If you don't do assessment between May and July, latest August, you will not have promotion. Things will just come, pile up. So, and I begin to appeal that we should avoid that period for strike actions so that we don't continue to lose. Because who are the people losing? Government is not losing. As leaders, we should be able to know when to strike and when not to strike. We should be able to know how long to strike and things like that. Because in my own, in my place here, my people say the he-goat, it jumps to fight, but at a point it goes back to, gather more strength to fight again. I would, because I'm not speaking to leaders of SSANU. There is no reason why we shouldn't go on industrial actions if we are forced to go. But there should be time for it. We should target the right time. We should also target the length of time that we should be on an industrial action. Because the reasons for which we have been going on industrial actions have not been addressed. So it's likely that tomorrow there could be more industrial actions. But this thing should be now well done, well targeted, well planned and executed so that nobody loses. The losses of last year are trailing the universities. This morning I was woken up by some, online things that they send on bribery and corruption in Umudika and all that. I was just laughing. I was just saying, well, if the system imposes bribery and corruption on people, what will you do? You seize people's salaries for 5, 7, 8 months, and they don't have things to eat. So it's possible that the devil will tell them that this is the way to get something. But me, right from inception as Vice Chancellor, I have addressed this system, this university, unto righteousness. I've addressed this university to do things better than we have been doing it. Do things within the regulations and the law. Don't try to inspire wickedness in the system and all that. And of course, recently, the Senate had to constitute a committee against extortion, a very strong committee against extortion. And we are now, sending materials as the people concerned bring them in to that very committee. And that committee, by the time we start reading in the news, the outcome of their investigations and punishments that will be meted to people will marvel. So, but concerning us, I want to say that our members should work harder in terms of giving the right advice and timely advice to administration and to members of the union. And of course, ensuring that the conditions under which each one of us was brought in here is explained and of course enforced. Just like the president said, the powers of the university has been taken away from it. In those days, enforcement was easy. You could see somebody's salary, but now we don't pay salaries. And that is why we are entering into deeper confusion in the university. Many of our staff don't come to work. They don't come to work, but they take salaries every day. But while you are here working, they have already taken their salary. And if you query somebody, he answers anything he likes. If you give warning or give suspension, you are on your own. Some of them even go to lawyers to hire them to write to why you should send them on suspension or warn them and things like that. So that's the problem of the university system now. So let us work together. Whatever the union or the association is, it is in the interest of the university system. Let us work in the interest of the university system to ensure that we carry ourselves through. Well, because we don't have all the time, our conditions of service, of course, conditions of service is under regular review, but you know that it's mainly a property of council. If council is available, it makes review easy and faster. For us, all the University of Agriculture represented here, according to my brother from Abeokuta. You know that the University of Agriculture had no council for 1 year, 4 months. And the councils were just constituted last September 8th, and now they are no longer there. So these are the things that drag matters. And of course, at times at the lower level, when you constitute committee to review condition of service, people want to bring in every detail. The condition of service is not, it shouldn't be as detailed as even the Bible or Quran. They're just segments of things that you should be looking at, sticks for running the system. But everybody wants his own personal matter to be carried along and things like that, and these things delay. When you ask that one portion of the system, one portion of the condition of service should be looked at, everybody wants to bring everything. It's not done that way. And that is why we have some delays at times. But I think we're getting over it as far as our own is concerned. We started reviewing since 2016. We have not finished because of some of these dragging of matters and issues. So we'll soon be done with that as soon as we have our council stable and back. Well, I think the major thing you mentioned this morning is the issue of staff school. You know, Star School, we're just managing Star School. I know that SSANU has been, fighting about Star School, but all of us know the condition of Star School. But our own, we don't call it Star School, it's demonstration school. Because if I call it Star School, I'll be taken to court. All of you know where we are with Star School. But our own is demonstration secondary and primary school, and we're doing well. The problem was that we had excess staffing of those schools, excess staffing. But we're trying to manage our situation as we have them. We will do everything to make sure that everybody is at peace and comfortable in Michael Obra University of Agriculture Mudike. Once again, I want to thank you for this meeting, and I want to also tell you that we're following you straight to go and start your program so that you can sit down to do your discussions. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chancellor.
Let me also thank you for the gifts. Thank you very much. Yes, Madam will receive it. Yes, Madam will receive it.
Also, in giving of gifts, here in Mudike, we have different ways of welcoming our visitors. We'll start with the decoration of the National Executive Council members of SSANU. I will invite the University Librarian to please.
Do you have it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I invite the University Librarian to please step down to decorate the following persons. I will invite Comrade Emmanuel Egu Item. He's the National Treasurer. Please, come for your decoration.
Well, it's not just decoration. It's adoption. It's induction.
Okay.
That you have become part and parcel of us at a university. Yes. No. Yeah. With our identity. With our identity.
So we are inducting you into Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umudike. Feel free to walk into our university anytime, and we'll treat you and welcome you as a member.
Quick. No, first the this.
No. Let me also invite the librarian, sir. Let me invite the Vice VP of Northeast, Comrade Ali Adamu, please. Northwest, sorry. Northwest, for your induction. I invite Comrade Dr. A.O. Salam, VP Southwest.
Copy of the corrected speech.
Let me invite the university bossa, librarian, sir. Thank you, librarian. Job. Let me now invite our own bossa, Chief Goshuku Ironkwe, while I invite the VP North Central, Comrade N.A. Emmanuel, for your induction.
We want to welcome, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor and the university, we want to induct you into our university. And, by this symbol, you are free to be part and parcel of us. Feel free to enter. And when you're doing that, God will bless you.
May I invite Comrade Alhaji A. Issa. He's the VP of Northeast Zone. Thank you, sir.
On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and Michael Okpara University, we want to induct you into this university and make you a friend and part of us to feel free to come in with this symbol. You're welcome.
Also, let me invite the VP South, Comrade Azuma Sheta Ugochukwu.
We want to, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor and the university, we want to welcome you to be part and parcel of this university. With this symbol, you're free to be part of us. And when you do that, God will bless you in Jesus' name.
In our university, only the female staff touch the female staff. I will now invite RONDVC admin, Professor Franka Elechia Sawalam, to please induct and decorate Comrade Esther Izama.
On behalf of University, the Vice Chancellor and Maduebibisi of this university, we want to welcome you to our university, and to ask anytime around this environment, feel free to come in here and know how we are doing. Highly welcome.
Okay, may I now invite the registrar to please induct Comrade Agnes Adanna Nte, National Women Coordinator.
Vice Chancellor and the University Management Committee, hereby inducted. We are now free to be part of the university in the name of the Father and of the Son.
Amen. And finally, I would like to humbly invite our 6th Vice Chancellor, the Professor of Food Science and Technology, Professor Maduebibisi Ofo Iwe, to induct the Deputy National President, Comrade Dr. Leku Adu. And finally, the National President, Comrade M.H. Ibrahim. So you are welcome and inducted into our university. And before we go for the group photograph, I will invite our registrar, Dr. Kirum Banaso, to please lead us in closing prayer.